Get it. How's it going? Hi, everyone. It's been a minute. Let me turn the chat on because we know that likes to fight with me. So I hope everyone had a fabulous 3 weeks since last time we got together. I truly feel like it went by in an instant, but also has been so long. Um, Hello, everyone. Popping that in the chat. I'm so glad everyone's here, even though there was a break. I wasn't sure who we'd get tonight, so I'm so happy to see a bunch of you in here already. I hope we got some newbies that I've met along my way in the last few weeks because I spread the good word about this. And thank you all for joining me. So while everyone's signing on, because I like to start, if this is your first time, I like to start a few minutes after the hour just to give some, time for some late arrivals. My name is Laura De Vega, if you don't know me already, and I'm just checking on something beautiful. I am the Director of Agency Development for World Via and World Via Travel Group. Good evening, Jasmine. And I have like my real customer service voice going tonight, guys. I apologize. I'm just excited. We all have it. We all have that voice that's a little bit like 2 tones higher than our regular voice when we're on the phone with clients and customers. But anywho, I'm so excited to be back here. Ooh, Danielle, first time watching from Sarasota, Florida. Ooh, Florida, I have to tell you, Danielle, I'm for those of you that don't know me, again, Laura De Vega, Director of Agency Development from World Via. Um, I am from northeastern Pennsylvania. So that is where I live, and it is hence the sweater. It is cool. We are in full fall, and my parents are pretend snowbirds. And what I mean by that is twice a year they go down to St. Pete for 2 weeks at a time and pretend to be snowbirds, but come back home. And they always, without fail, go during hurricane season. And this time they're in the hurricane. So they did get evacuated to Tampa, but that seems even not to have helped too much. But they make the most of it, and as they should. But oh, you're from the Jersey Shore. I love it. So, yep, I'm Jersey Shore is where I grew up specifically. Well, I should say where I grew up, like going on vacations. Speaking of, since we're all advisors here, my only travel experience until I was much older. We won't give the secrets to how old I am. But was Jersey Shore, so like Wildwood Crest, New Jersey. I did 1 year at Virginia Beach, and that was like too much. 1 year at Ocean City, Maryland, but it was always Wildwood Crest. I like grew up on the shore. So, hi. Oh, let me make sure. Yes, Amber. Cut your name off for a second, so I want to make sure I got good evening. So, just want to finish who I am and why I do this in case this is your first time, because you already realize that we have somebody that's new here. So again, I'm the director of agency development, and for me, that's a lot of things within my business. But part of it is also building and developing agencies is really important to me. So my backstory: I started as a travel advisor, like all of you, worked my way up through the system, did it for a few years. I've been in the industry 13 years, so I did it for a few years, had my own agency, then moved into the wholesaler space, worked for GoGo Vacations for quite a bit of time and worked on their business development team. And then towards the end of my time with GoGo, I ran their business development team. So I was their business development leader. And then I got to hear. Sorry, my hair is driving me crazy today. I got to hear, and then now I do agency development and kind of bring in recruitment. But what has all that's done for me over the years is, one, I've seen both sides of travel, right? So I've sold it like all of you, experienced the struggles that you all experience, but also I've seen it from the other side of with the call-ins that you get, and I see so many. It never ends. Even experienced agents. I just did some trainings in some of the weeks I was out. Multi-year agents in the room, 20, even some years, 15, 20 years. And there's just things that they're like, you know what, I don't even think to do that, because no one really sits and takes the time to have these moments that I've been doing with all of you to go through it. So this is just something I do for free every Thursday night when I'm in town, of course, but I'm back in town for a few weeks. So you're going to get quite a bit of me. And we go through things to develop yourself and build your professional development and personal development. Personal development is incredibly important to me. I set goals and write them down daily. If you are not setting goals and want to learn more about that, I did goals a few weeks ago, and I have to pop the Facebook group into the chat. You can see all the old recordings in the Facebook group. And you can pop in there and see what we've talked about, what's coming up, what you can learn more about. I'm going to get better about posting in there just casually as well, because now I have the lovely Andrea. If you see her in there, she's helping me out with things, and she is a little angel for me. So hold on, I'm just going to pop that out. So if you ever see her approve any of your messages or comment to anything you comment there, because feel free to comment away. She helps me out, and I love her dearly. Oop, that went direct to you, Amber. Hold, please. This is when, oh, I want everybody. I want it to everyone. Sorry about that. Sometimes Zoom fights me. So that is the Facebook group. Feel free to join there and I'll add you in and all kinds of updates and whatever's coming up. Maybe we'll even have to talk about different topics coming up because, or I'm going to run out of topics soon. I still have about 10 more that I have queued up, but eventually, well, I'll need some input and see what you want to hear, what you want to hear again, what we should go back to. Just a quick review before we get into what we've talked about so far. We've talked about goals. We've talked about habits. We've talked about navigating change, which was incredibly important, especially because this industry changes consistently. We've talked about just building better habits for yourself. And I'm blanking on some of it. I lied to you. I have them up. I could tell you right now some of the things we talked about. Financial navigation, that was a big one. We did get into like building your business structure and what that should look like and how to create that so it makes sense for you and just things to keep in mind. And some other great topics have come back on feedback from you all that I might adjust things in the future. But the whole point of this is to build your business, make you feel more confident in it, and answer any questions you might have along the way. Because sometimes things come up that are not exactly relative, but I'm happy to answer. And if I have the answer or if I can't, I'll get the answer for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get this presentation popped up here because, all right, bear with me one second. Because I'm going to go ahead and get started to be mindful of everybody's time. I hope you're eating your dinners, depending where you're at. It's 7 o'clock on the East Coast, but you may not be on this coast, but I like to be mindful of everybody's time. And I also share it with it right next to me because I like you to see my face. I'm kind of an animated speaker, and I think it helps conversationally for me. So I hope you all can see the screen. If you can't, let me know. Oh, it's because you can't right now because I'm not sharing. I never hit it officially. All right, there we go. Now we are sharing. So let me pop into here. Ooh, hold on. There we go. I like to see you guys and see what I'm doing and see all the things. Make sure I see the chat, all the good things. All right. So what are we talking about tonight? Tonight, we're talking about building a community within your business and like building some loyalty to your business. And this is kind of multifold, right? So this is building a strong referral system, building some confidence in your business. But this is also building, if you have a team, building loyalty within your team. I came from a organization when I worked on the wholesale side. It was through Flight Center, which is a huge travel organization throughout the globe. And they're very big on the idea of family, village, tribe. Like you should always have your group of people. So whether you have your own advisors that are under you or ICs that are independent contractors that are under you, or you're independent completely, you should still have your tribe of sorts. You should have your people because one, for situations that might come up where you need assistance, you need someone to help you when you're out or something like that. But also, like, we all need someone to knock ideas around with, right? I think so often and whether you're new or super experienced, one of the most humbling things about this industry, because it's always changing, is the fact that it is always changing. And someone who might be brand new might know something more than you who've been in it 20, 30 years, right? And I always love that. I started in a storefront agency worked there with agents that were in the business for 30 years. And within a few weeks, they're like, hey, Laura, do you know? And that made me, one, feel very good and built my confidence. But also it was very humbling for them and it kept everybody in a good spot. And so having a tribe of your own, having a village of your own of travel professionals, and I dare say of all different levels of experience. And why I say that is I'm a big believer is that you should always be in a room with people that are smarter or more experienced than you, because you, and this is not my quote, but I live by it, you are the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to be bigger and better, I always say bigger, better, best, you have to be around 5 bigger, better, best people to always make sure you are. And for a prime example, I will admit a fault in here. So I know travel inside and out. I'm very comfortable in it. I'm not always comfortable in spaces like that are technology focused. So last week, I went to one of the largest technology conferences in the country. I went to Inbound, which, if you're not familiar, HubSpot is a CRM system. It's their conference that is run for sales, marketing, and content. And I stepped out of my comfort zone and I learned more from individuals and I made friends to build my tribe and build my village so I can keep learning more. And boy, was I humbled. But I'm also going to take so much more from it because now I have broken my comfort zone and I'm also around people that can help me. So let's get into this a bit more details. I also want a warning. There's a lot of words on these slides. I'm probably not going to read them directly, but I'll get through the concepts of them. So feel free to screenshot whatever makes the most sense for you. But what we're going to kind of talk about today. So I want to talk about the power of community and what it can do for you and for your business. I want to talk about creating that family and what that looks like for you. Also building your village. You'll see how this kind of breaks down separately. And strengthening bonds within your team, and whether that team is actually your team, like employees or ICs, or whether that is just your team of good people that you're surrounding yourself with. And then building loyalty, and that's within your business and from outside of your business with your clientele. Okay. So the power of community and business. Now, this I am going to redirect because this is a quote that I really like, and it's a success in business is rarely achieved alone. The power of community lies in its ability to inspire, support, and elevate us beyond what we can accomplish individually. There's a statistic that not relevant, but kind of relevant to this. You overestimate what you can accomplish in an hour, but you underestimate you underestimate what you could accomplish in a year, or that can be changed to different magnitudes. Like you overestimate what you can do in a year, but underestimate what you can accomplish in 10 years. It's really big in setting goals, but I feel like this tracks to this in the sense of you're going to overestimate what you could probably do yourself, but man, with a little bit of a community behind you, the mountains you'll climb and get over, I think, are crucial. So trying to build that is incredibly important because support is so huge. Hearing other champions behind you is so incredibly important. And having your clientele be your champion is the best way to build your business. Even if you're already established, to keep it going, that is what keeps it going. So let's talk about the power of community for a moment. And so I want to talk about this in 3 different ways. One, this isn't just I meet you, I book your trip, we're best friends. There's no interaction there. It is way beyond this, the transaction of taking your money in and being connected to that person. It's not just a one-time sale. People crave connection. And I think even more so after the last few years, we are seeing an influx of people wanting to be in person again at events. We are seeing like advisors within our own network want to come to in-person events. People crave connection. It's part of our natural state. So when you are just transactional, you are just an order taker, which is fine if that's all you want to be. But what's going to set you apart from someone else and from the business down the street, and what's going to make you successful is actually connecting to your clients. And you're not doing that by just getting their credit card number. You're not doing that just by sending your itinerary over on the internet through your CRM. Do you have to do those steps? Absolutely. But can you put something alongside it to make that connection? 100%. We'll kind of talk about that as we go through, but it is way beyond just the transaction. You have to have a human-centered approach. So I put here, treat your clients as part of your tribe because they should be, rather than just focusing on the customer, focus on the long-term relationships. Something that I am really proud of is I still have long-standing relationships with individuals I booked 13 years ago. I don't even book travel anymore per se. Occasionally for my own travel, things like that. I still know what Mary Ellen's dog's up to. I still know, and it's not just from Facebook. I see these people, I have conversations because I built a relationship so strong with them years ago. I'm still involved in their lives. I have friends that started as just clients that are just my friends in the daily because I got to know them. I focused on when I was sitting with them. Now I know I was at an advantage being in a storefront, but you can do this over phone calls. You can meet your customers for coffee. You can make this extra step, take this extra effort to make these connections, and it'll be incredibly important for your relationship building, but also incredibly important for what they're going to tell other people. You know, I love Amber because she comes, she grabs a coffee when we talk. We should, do you know? And they're going to tell stories about you too, which is huge because you want them to be in on your business because having a cheerleader, again, I'm going to say it more throughout this 100%, is so incredibly important. If you just took their credit card and booked it, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, she was fine. How many interactions do you have like that in the daily? I know I have them constantly. I'm like, oh, I went there, it was fine. You know, she took my money, I got what I needed, it was fine. But I'll tell you, I love my hairdresser because we talk about Taylor Swift, and I am not even necessarily a huge Taylor Swift fan. I don't know. I guess I am. I don't know. I am now. We talk about all the time. We talk about things. She knows more about me, and I've only been to her twice. She's a new hairdresser, but it's just the interaction, the comfortable feeling that I get because she built a relationship with me very quickly. And I know that's a hairdresser way, but there's no reason we can't do that within our own system, especially because we are creating experiences for clients. We're not selling insurance. We're not selling the bless their hearts. We're not selling like the grass turn it green people that are knocking on doors, right? We're selling amazing, incredible experiences, sometimes life changing. Sometimes it's this one trip every 2 years you're booking for these people. Build a relationship about it. Why are you booking this trip? What are you doing? Get to know them. And emotional connections. Again, I kind of segued into this already, but building an emotional connection. Find out why they're going on the trip. What have they been saving for years for this? Is this celebratory? What can you do to help celebrate it with them? There's a lot of pieces to that, but this is going to build your community because they're going to remember, oh, you know what? She did this nice thing for us. She called the hotel this. I can tell you an online travel agency is not going to do that for them. They just aren't. So it's the little things that we have the ability of doing that are going to set us apart, that is going to build your community. This is just another quote I like. We don't have to do it all alone. We were never meant to, by Brene Brown. And I said that this is part of our nature to be part of a community. I know that it's difficult for some, and sometimes even for me. I am on all day long, I'm talking all day long, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, man, I am peopled out, right? Like we all get there. It's such human nature. But I find when I'm peopled out and I just try to do it myself is when I need people the most. It's when I could really just use a hand. And I think this is also really important to when you're building your community of support around you. And I know we're talking clients now, but you're going to have a feeling of overwhelm, whether this is your first situation or last situation. But there are situations in this industry that we cannot control. And man, you're going to be so much happier if you have someone to knock your ideas off of or be like, I don't know what to do. They're stuck here. Great example. My family, my snowbird family is stuck in a hurricane zone. Now I've experienced this before. I knew what to do with them. But if you didn't, and you didn't have anyone to ask because you didn't build out a community to have someone to ask, you're going to feel really uncomfortable in that moment. And there's ways around it. And whether it's your host agency and just so anyone that's part of my host that's happened to hop on here, this is open to anybody, not just in the host. And I open this to all my travel friends I've met along the way. So whether you're within a host agency or a different consortium that might have a place where you can be a part of, great, maybe an online space, but also having someone to get on the phone and call and just talk this out with is so huge. So whether that's getting a mentor for yourself, whatever it may be, but having a voice to speak to is incredibly important. So creating a family within your business. What do I mean? One, a way to create this family and build this community is doing personalized customer experiences. So that is taking the extra step more often than not. We are all busy. We all have too many emails. Oh, I can't even, you don't want to know my number of unopened emails. A lot of them are junk. I try to skim through and get it, but taking the extra step to one, proactively know a customer's needs, but also just like paying attention to other things. Birthdays. You should have their birthdays because you need their birthdays to book their trip. Send them birthday messages. You don't have to send them a gift. Just send them a birthday message. Put it on Facebook. Happy birthday. Just do that little step. I'm a big fan of a pre-made template in my CRM. I just had a birthday message that I just had to stock, put in the name and be like, happy birthday, Linda, happy birthday, Tom, whatever it may be. But those little messages, and then we know we get them all the time. But if your message seems more personal and it's coming from you, and listen, don't do the pre-made one if that's what's important to you, or pick up the phone. Everyone really got away from that. And I find when I get a phone call and it's actually a person and it's that they're not trying to like sell me my car's extended warranty. I want to talk to a person. Call and leave that birthday voicemail, even if they don't answer. They're gonna be so happy you did that. That's such a kind little gesture. And it's gonna go, even if they only booked one Carnival cruise with you, they're gonna go, she remembered my birthday. That was really nice. We're thinking of going to Ireland. Maybe I should give her a call. Things like that. Remember trip anniversaries because odds are they traveled around that time last year. They might travel that time around that time again this year. And if you're prepared a few months out, which the turnaround used to be 3 to 6 or like 6 to 9 months for trips, and now it's more 3 to 6 months. That always fluctuates. But around 6 months, if they haven't called you, give them a phone call. Hey, Tony, I said, listen, I know you had a great time last year. I saw there's some things coming up. Are we thinking about anything yet? What are we looking at? Start that conversation. We are about to get in a lull before busy season. Now, I know there's not as much of a lull as there was, but what a great way to spend your time other than reaching out to those people that booked in busy season last year. Let them know you're thinking about them. Let them know that there are trips coming up that they could take advantage of. What do they like to do? Look into what they like to do. Get prepared. Like this is what your time for like that, how that time should be spent. And post-trip follow-up. So we'll get into this a little further later, but one of the biggest things I see lost among travel advisors, and even sometimes it was myself because we get busy and we get carried away, is not doing a post-trip follow-up. That does multiple things. One, it shows to your customers you care about them. Two, it provides you with feedback on the property. So you could build out what you know is a good property to send to or what's not a good property to send to, as well as know just their general experience that they had. So you know if you want to send them somewhere similar in the future or somewhere better or worse, right? I can't tell you how many times when I'm doing qualifying questions for sales, when I was selling directly, if I didn't know the person and I didn't want to ask for a dollar amount, I go, hey, where'd you stay last year? Because once you learn the different properties and get to know them, you're going to be able to off sell that or switch sell that to somewhere else that makes sense. And we talked a few weeks about profit drivers, right? Knowing what makes sense to sell for your business, you'll be able to switch sell by knowing what they booked last and know what they could book again, what might be better for them. And then this is where you also get reviews. And we'll talk a little later about building kind of your own referral system, but we see consistently within our host agency, the advisors that have more reviews built into their website or their Facebook page or they see consistent more repeat customers, more just customers that naturally come into them, and two, the trust is built with, or three, that was not two. Woo, can't add today. It's too late. But that the trust is built. So they see more reliability that's built within their clients and they see a higher influx of bookings coming in because reviews are built. They also tend to get more lead generation depending on what system you use. I know that's how ours is built. The more reviews are in, the more they're going to get tracked more leads. Where if you work for a different consortium or things like that, that's how a lot of those work in that level. So that's how those leads come in. So getting reviews is incredibly important. Open communication and exclusive offers. So a couple things here. Again, I said encourage feedback, good, bad, ugly. I always say good, bad, ugly. Listen, no one wants to hear when it wasn't good, but that's how you learn. You know more than you did before by not being correct or knowing everything. So just take the bad feedback. Also, a customer who feels heard feels more connected to your brand. I read that whole sentence very specifically because If they had a rough time and you heard about it when they're on their trip, nobody wants to make that phone call once they get home. But the fact that you made the effort to make the call, they're going to remember that. They're going to go, oh, she did care to call back. She did care to know more. And connection built there, that one little step is going to hold on to that customer and also have that customer referred out for you. Hey, we did not have a great time at this property. Wasn't her fault. She checked in, she fixed it for us. I would definitely book with her again. I would recommend it because she cared. He cared. Things to think about. And then reward loyal clients. So this is something you kind of will build as you build your book of business. If you're just starting out, this may not be feasible for you, but there's things that you can do that you can start to build out your business and make. One, you can either send little gifts to your loyal clients. Say if they gave you a referral, send them a little gift in their room the next time they book, give them a little discount off their trip. Talk about that more in a second. There's little things you could do for kickbacks. You could also have like little VIP events, which is fun. Like, so say you're having a wine night within one of our, your like Italy DMCs who are offering tours in Italy. You want to have a little wine night? Have it just for your VIPs. Hey, you book with me before. I'd love to invite you to this. Bring a friend. Things that you can do to bring people in, and you could team up with local organizations to kind of put these together, and they'll help you with that. Other things that you can do is because there's a lot of costs related to what I just said, sure. So you could do your own webinars. You can do your own local events that don't have a cost to them per se, like little get-togethers. You can make sure you're treating the people that treat you well first and then branch out from there because their word of mouth is going to be exponential for you. Many businesses, when they start out, they only go with word of mouth. And Bar Louie, I know the restaurant organization, when they started out, I don't know if you have a Bar Louie in your area. I don't even know if there's that many still around, but regardless, they were very successful for a long time. And they built their entire structure on four-wall marketing. Four-wall marketing is hoping that someone gives a good referral to a good referral to a good referral. They paid no paid advertising. I'm not saying that's the only way, but I'm saying it's an excellent way to build your business. So think about those things when you're kind of, trying to build your family. Because then when you have those little events, then they get to know each other. Then they might travel together. Then they might have a bigger group. And then you really have a family. Okay. Building your village. Now, getting your clients as part of your ecosystem is incredibly important. This is a lot of words. Don't read all this. We'll talk through it. Okay. Client-centered communities. So we talked about spaces for your clients. I've seen some really successful things happen with other advisors by creating spaces for your clients. So this might feel a little uncomfortable. You do have to have somewhat of a book of business to start something like this, but build a little group. Build a little group for the people that book with you regularly where they can talk about their experience, a trip they just went on. They could post their photos so you can see what's going on with it. People can hear their experiences. Maybe they'll want to book from what they hear from someone else. Bring new clients and you meet at events, pop them all in this group, and they're like, oh, look at all the trips they went on. Look at their fabulous photos. And encourage your clients to post their experiences in there and maybe give them a perk or it could be anything. It could be, I'll get you a coffee the next time. It could be something simple. It could be like, I'll give you $25 off your next trip, which won't affect you. It comes out of the commission. You don't even know. Whatever it may be. Think about those things and what could bring them to encourage them to post in there. And then that is, again, it's four walls marketing. It's selling for you without you having to sell, which is incredibly important. Also, another thing that people do, I'm going to skip to the last tidbit here and go back to the other one, is client spotlights. So you can do this in a few different ways. I have seen people have it on their website where they're like, oh, this is the trip of the day or whatever it may be. But there's not as much organic traffic to your site on a regular basis to get that information out there. Where I've seen it be really successful is I know an advisor that on her Facebook, in her group, she only posts photos of her clients traveling. She gets their permission first. She asks for their photos on her. So when she does that welcome home phone call that I was just talking about, hey, can you send me a few photos? Do you mind if I post them on my social? Most of the time, people will not care. They'll be so excited. You pop that up there and you're like, here, this is Linda and Tom. Here they are. And, at, I don't know, their Eiffel Tower. Look at the great time they had. I had them stay and then put the details because the trip's over. They stayed at this property. They really loved this experience. I'd love to book something like this for you. Post that into there. I saw something recently. I don't know if you have a LinkedIn for your business page, but they said that consistency on any social is important, and consistency is only considered one post a week. So they say any business that posts consistently is clearly the most successful, and consistency is only considered one post a week. You can post one post a week. Should you be posting marketing for your business? Sure, but this is easy marketing and you don't have to do the work for it. They took the pictures, you already know what they booked, you already know what suppliers you work with to book it, put all that information out there. It's really easy. And what it'll do, especially if you use, say, Instagram or something like that, it's going to build that portfolio of those photos. So you just have this gorgeous set of photos of where people have traveled to and shows the experience. I also know somebody, I don't know if she's on, sometimes she joins. Every time one of her clients travel, she posts, where are my clients headed this week? And she doesn't post anything about them. She just posts the destination, and like what it is, like a family headed to Barcelona, or, a honeymoon to Australia, like things like that. She posts this and it stirs people's brains. Where are they going? I want to go there. They want to ask questions. So, and then referral or ambassador programs. I've breezed over this a few times, but I do think there's ways that you can handle this in an easy way where it can benefit your business. How I did a referral program in the past is once I was able to, and I had to do it with vendors where it made sense, or a lot of times it came out of my own pocket. I'd say, hey, for every referral you kick back to me and they book, I'll give you $25 or $50 off your next booking, which feels scary if you don't have a lot of bookings out there. I know that, because you're like $50, but if they're booking a trip where you're going to make $300 in commission off it, and the next one's booking one that you're making $300 in commission off it, you made $600 off this individual. So to take $100 off, you're still more than up and up on your cost. I hope that makes sense. So that's kind of how I did it until I had it gets difficult to give physical kickbacks, right? And there's a cost with that and things with this when you can work it into commissions and things like that, depending on who you work with. You might be able to edit that. But for the most part, what I would just do is I would front it out of my own costs for that small amount, knowing that the commission would come back to me and knowing I would make more on the long haul. So it's something you have to kind of work with. You could do little coupons in a sense, or you can do an ambassador program. You can say, hey, listen, if you get 5 people to book with me, I will, get you a so much $250 onboard credit for your next cruise. You have to work and see what makes the most sense for what you sell and what you can even do with your supplier partners, but there's different workarounds with it. Or I don't know if any of you book groups, but if you do, many groups have Pied Piper rates, which that means is for every so many rooms booked or every so many tours booked, you get a free one, right? So if you do something like that, you can say to the person, now, depending on what kind of advisor you are, again, this is your choice. You can keep that extra money as commission, which you are welcome to do, or you can offer a discount on every room. You're also welcome to do, or you can give a significant discount to the person that organized the group. Hey, thank you for being my cheerleader. Thank you for bringing this business. Let me give you this discount here. Or let me pay for an upgrade for you with this discount. Things like that. And that's going to build this little program for you. They're going to want to keep coming back because they know they get perks through you that they're not going to get anywhere else. Okay. Talking a lot tonight. I got to take a sip of water. Strengthen the bonds within your team. So I'm a big, big proponent to this. And this doesn't just mean if you have a physical team. Yes, it is written to if you have a physical team. I try to imply this within my own team. I have real golden retriever energy. Even today, I had this lovely moment, and I hope she watches this, but she was so excited about something that happened. And I was like, yes, nice work. I'm like, boop, boop. Like, I am what I was never as a child. I'll tell you that. I did not have this energy before, but when you have these moments, you want someone there to be there for you, and having one feeling valued and feeling a great energy within your business is so important. So if even if you don't have your own team to foster this energy, get your group of advisors, get the people that make the most sense to be around, and start celebrating each other's wins. Start helping each other with these questions. Because man, the energy you're going to feel once you start to do that cannot be stopped. It can't. And there's just something that is so natural, the endorphins that it gives off from giving that positivity out, you're going to feel so good. And also, once someone feels supported by someone else, so they feel more comfortable asking questions to that person. So put yourself in the position first where someone feels comfortable asking you questions so you can feel the same way to them. That is going to build a relationship and a team of either friends or your internal team that you're never going to be able to come back from. I'm very comfortable that I know my team can ask me questions and shouldn't feel uncomfortable asking questions and shouldn't feel uncomfortable failing. So if you have your own team, you should make sure that they feel comfortable in that space to fail, to ask questions, to ask stupid questions. I say all the time, I ask stupid questions all the time. Please ask away. And it also just shows in like how you invest in them as well. And this is more internal, but know that encourage staff to train themselves to get more certifications. Know that there's so many free certifications out there that you can get to grow yourself, even just as a business person, not even so much as a travel advisor, but also there are so many growth opportunities within the travel community that are free to little, minimal to no cost that you can do, or even if it is making the investment and spending the cost, there are incredible opportunities to keep learning more and doing more. And I popped a little bit about the wellness initiative in there, but that was more so as like a, hey, if you want to go do an axe throwing, which is not really wellness, or like do something with your group of like core advisors or your team, it helps so much. I took a team of business development managers axe throwing last year, and I had a lot of members of that team that were a little bit older, and they're like, oh, did not want to go. And by the end, the one came up to me, she goes, I did not want to come here. I said, no. She goes, I had the best time I've ever had. And in that time, we had conversations that we didn't have, weren't comfortable having in office space, and it really opens up. So be open to different opportunities. Empower your staff. I already kind of talked about this. Be the cheerleader. Do this for your friends. Do this for the advisors you're surrounding yourself. Be the cheerleader. It is gonna feel uncomfortable if it's not who you are right now, but I promise you, I even today when I said something to the team member that said something to me, she goes, "Thank you for that." No one said anything back. I was like, you'll always hear from me. Like that is not how people should feel. I have just learned, and it's funny, I was very fortunate, and at the conference I went to last week, Ryan Reynolds was there and spoke, which was crazy. But he said something that I truly believe even before he said it, and I'm so happy to hear. He said, joy is the biggest commodity that we can give out to people. Joy. There is no cost. There is nothing to do. It takes a little bit of effort, but man, giving joy to someone else is the biggest commodity we can give. And it is so crucial to how it affects people's days and how customers feel when they come to you and how your staff would feel working with you and how they're going to project that to their customers, which is only going to build your business. Put the joy out there. Like I said, if it's not your space, it's going to take a minute, but it's going to feel good. And this is another idea if you do have staff or ICs, offer incentives for client retention. If they have a referral, if they have somebody come back after they don't usually come back, do something little for them. Even if it's just like get them a coffee, do something small, or maybe it's like, hey, I don't know, maybe it's a bonus 1% commission on what you usually pay them. There's a lot of things that you can offer to them, and this can make sense to build their confidence and want to get the retention themselves. And that's ways you can do that. Okay. Storytelling. Oh my goodness, the glue that holds the tribe together. So let's talk about what I mean by this. One, it's one thing to make a relationship with customers, but if they don't know your story to tell to their referrals, they might not know exactly what to tell. They're going to say, you're a great agent. She did this for me. But as you're having conversations with your clients, because we're going to have a lot as far as on the travel advisor community, because you're not just talking to them at booking. You're talking to them when they don't know what to do with their passport. You're talking to them when they're worried about weather. You're talking when they want to make dining reservations. You're talking to them many times before they travel. So pepper in little moments about your business journey so they understand you and your business. Oh, I've been doing this for however long. I'm doing it to do this. I'm doing it to because I want to be niche in river cruising, whatever it is, so they understand your vision, where you want your business to go. So they're projecting that information correctly. So when they're sitting around a table with people at a dinner and they hear, oh, I would really love to go on a river cruise, they can go, you know what? I have a friend, Jennifer, who's an advisor, and she specializes in that. Let me give you her information. And those things will happen naturally for you because you've put that information in their brain. And because you've, again, made a connection with them so they want to. And then client storytelling. So this is the other side of that. I kind of talked about this in the referrals and in the client spotlight, but tell your client stories. Nothing's going to make them feel more excited than you're putting their information out there and being like, look at this amazing trip they had. Look at their photos. It validates your business and it validates you as an advisor, and it makes them feel really good. And so they're gonna be like, oh, did you see? Or they might share it on their social, and then everyone's seeing it on theirs. There's so many really beneficial ways that you can get information from this, and it can help your business. Okay. Building loyalty through value-added services. But this is like a magnet, right? Building that loyalty, bringing it in. Again, lots of words I'll talk through. So educational content. That doesn't just mean for your ICs or team, but it is relative to that. But give them, your clients, more than just their booking. If they are going to Ireland for the first time and you see a training on like a training that's client facing about what to see in Ireland, send them a TikTok about what they should go do and see, or what you can book for them, whatever it may be. Offer information to them, give them all, proactively think about what might come up for them and give them that information ahead of time. Preload your booking so you know, like for example, if I have a cruise and I've booked a cruise, I'm sending my client all the excursions so I know they're coming back and booking with me. Hey, these are all the excursions they have to offer. These are the ones I think you would love after what you told me about what you like and what you want to do with the kids. Come back, we'll get it booked once you're ready, but check these out. Look at it. Plan ahead. Be ahead of the system with your clients, and you're going to be so much more successful. Specialized niches. This is just, I wanted to talk about, it helps build loyalty when you know something inside and out. And a lot of the ways that people do that is they're getting into niches, whether it's luxury or adventure or family or Disney or whatever it is that you love and want to get into. Know it inside and out, build a community around it. Oh, I am the person who books national parks. I know everything about it. You want to come to me. Because what that does is, one, it builds people that want to get into that to come to you. It builds brand recognition around what your brand is in that exact thing. So when people are searching and the way that Google searches and things work, it'll pull up. But it also creates a space when you get that group of advisors that you're working with and they're your core people, where if they don't specialize in something, they go, hey, listen, this is not my game, but I have Linda. She can help you with national parks. Do you mind if I send her to you? And then you can do the same for her with something you don't specialize in. The world is large and crazy, and it's hard to know it all. So if you pick a niche and you have a good circuit and a good community to toss these things around with, you're going to see really beneficial things from it, because they'll also, when you treat their clients well, they're going to treat your clients well, and vice versa. And also just offering some aftercare support. Stay in touch after your trip. Offer services for rebooking. This comes up a lot with cruises. You'll see they book on board, they get a better rate or whatever it may be. You have the ability a lot of times, one, to flip that booking back to you with cruises, and there's also some other things that occur. But what you can do is make sure you set yourself up like, hey, I can book that for you. Let me get you set up, like send it on to me. Or whether it's like, I used to do a welcome back like a few days after they got back, but then I would do a check-in phone call 2 weeks later. Hey, did you love anything about that? What are you thinking for next year? Just again, being proactive, thinking about the next thing, getting that feedback, doing your little welcome home things. It will really set you up for success going forward. Okay, this is just a little tidbit I want to add in that I think is important. I don't know if you use a CRM system, which is a customer relationship management. I don't know if you currently offer it, where you keep track of all your clients. Your host may offer it for you, or your consortium may offer it for you, but there are many available. I don't want to recommend one, but I'm just saying I would get in the habit of having it if you don't currently have it. What it'll do, it'll keep track of your client preferences. You can keep notes in there. You can keep, like I said, those template emails so you know what you're sending to people. This is how you can manage, it says loyalty programs, but also referral programs. You can keep track of who they referred to you, so you know if they're like trying to bank in on that more than once. You're like, I used it on the last one, like things like that. You can keep all your notes in there. So a good CRM system will really help you with your welcome homes and your like your send off emails before they leave and your birthday and anniversary, all that kind of stuff is a great housing source for that. So make sure you get a CRM system that works for you and for your business. And then social media. Again, we kind of talked about what you can do with client spotlights and building groups, but really use your social media. It's a free service. It's free marketing. Nothing's free anymore. Like, so using it and engaging on it and making sure you're spotlighting your customers to bring them into this family and building this community will be really important to you. And anything that you build on social media, other people can share. Big tidbit, and everyone forgets because everyone gets because we're worried about our own personal privacy. Make sure you make those posts public so that they can share it and someone else can share it and it throws your business name out into different spaces. It's sometimes out of habit we make things private, and just make sure you're making everything public. Okay. How you measure your success and how do you know this is working? One, track your repeat business. Know who's booked with you before, and you should get an idea of that, but keep a roster. Who are my repeats? How many times have they repeated? Who have they brought in after that? Whether that's a little Excel sheet you make or you keep it in your CRM system, it'll be incredibly helpful to know how your community is building. Get client satisfaction scores. There are many, many free services where you can build little questionnaires that you can pop into an email where they say, how was everything? Can I do anything better? It's going to suck sometimes because they're going to say things you don't want to hear, but it's going to be really incredibly important for feedback and quotes and things about locations that you can use in the future. You do that, or just do it the hard way. Give them a phone call. Hey, what did you like? Didn't like? What can we do better? I always say, when we build anything with my team, what was good, what was bad, what can we do better? Right? That's a great starting point for any of this. And then referral rates. Again, this is just monitoring the amount of referrals are coming from certain customers and not others, or are they coming from outside sources? You might build a referral program with like a local hair salon or something like that. So keep those in mind and know where your business is coming from, because this tracks back to a class from a few weeks ago, but knowing your business drivers, knowing where your money comes from is incredibly important. And just try and go above and beyond. That's going to build a community naturally by showing your interest and showing you care. Surprise and delight. Like, it's just, and don't let them know. I used to, if you, a lot of the different wholesalers and things might have some perk systems where if you book it, they might get a free upgrade. I would never tell my clients about that free upgrade, but then when they got there, if they got it, because a lot of times it was like based on availability, I'd look like the hero. And they'd be like, oh, thank you so much for that. Things like that. Putting a gift in a room on a cruise ship is incredibly easy to do. A lot of times you can do it at points you've earned from booking certain things, like little stuff like that. Surprise and delight, sending messages to them, double checking on them in a bad situation, checking on them a few days before if you knew they're nervous. Again, your proactive problem solving, we talked about that a lot, but being prepared and knowing what might come up from them and knowing your customers is going to save you so much trouble on the long haul, and it's going to show to them that they care and want to refer you to other people. And then fostering long-term loyalty. Be consistent. If you offer this kind of service to 5 people, but not the other 40, you're not going to grow. So only put out what you're capable of sustaining for large growth. And that's going to be a difficult thing to kind of maneuver and figure out what makes sense for you and your business. But it will be very important for you in building your business. Do what you know will be sustainable for whether you have 5 clients or 500 clients. So if that is just sending a welcome home email or like certain touchbacks, that's fine, but make sure you can keep yourself consistent. Because if you offer above and beyond service in the beginning and then you get too busy and can't offer it later, they're going to notice. And that's not going to build your community. It's going to make it smaller. So, and then invest in relationships. Sometimes there is a cost in investing in relationships with customers. Sometimes it's not a huge cost. Like I said, it might be offering a referral program where you have to eat a little bit of commission. Sometimes it's just investing your time. It's taking a minute to get to know them, taking that hour and sitting with them when you have other things you need to be doing. Investment is not just cash, it's time and availability and the willingness to help your customers and your clients, and investing that time and taking that extra step, whether it's sending the extra email, making the extra phone call, organizing, printing proper documents for people. just printing them out, using your printer, your ink, printing them, and then going through them. A lost art, and it's unfortunate to see, is going through documentation line by line with clients. And I know why, and I get it, and we're in a technology-driven world, but I promise you, when people are stressed, they can't read. Taking that extra time and going through documentation with clients will be a huge step for you. And that's all I have tonight, guys. This is a more of a lighter topic. We didn't get too heavy after we were in with business topics, heavy, 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 and talking financial statements and things like that the 2 weeks prior. But I thought this was a good one about talking about how to build your business and build your business out. So this builds your business of growth, it builds your team within you, and it's really building a community around yourself and your business. And that's very hard in the beginning stages. And I just thought it would be incredibly important to talk about as we start to build out to more of these heavy topics in the weeks coming up. That is my email address on there. Feel free to send any questions you might have along to me. We are going to get into, I'll let you screen that shot that for a second, but I do just want to pull up. Here, I'll stop sharing the screen. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. I'm going to hang out for a while because I know I ended a little early here, but I would love to answer any questions, or if you have any off-topic things or on-topic things, let me know. But I do just want to see some of the topics coming up because I like to let you guys know things that might happen. You're welcome, Daniel. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week we're going to it's like the impact of bad leadership. And that will be definitely more heavily focused on if you have ICs or a team, but I'm also going to kind of bring it full circle to even in leading yourself and what you can do for that. Then we're also going to get into charting your course and crafting a winning marketing strategy for yourself. That's coming up shortly after. We're going to talk about effective development for your team and yourself. We're going to talk about leading through change and navigating industry disruptions, things like hurricanes or suppliers shutting down and things like that. We're going to talk about effortless networking. I call it strategies for quiet achievers because I think that's a really tough thing to get through. Not everybody's a golden retriever like I am. And we're going to talk about, building alliances and things like that. So there's a lot more things coming up in the future. If you guys don't have any questions, feel free to jump off. I'll hang out for a few more minutes, but I just really want to thank you. Thank you for spending your evening with me. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you got something from it. If you want to learn and get into some more of the heavy topics we talked about the last few weeks, again, go onto the Facebook page, request access. We'll approve you, and all the old episodes are on there where you can watch them and see what we've talked about and kind of build it to this point. If I can recommend a starting point, I would start with goals. I'm so glad to hear it was good for you. Thank you, Anthony. Good. I'm so glad. Jasmine, I'm so glad. Great topic. Good, 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 good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. There's some really great topics in the Facebook group. I highly recommend you start with goals and do habits, and then you can kind of watch from there, but you'll notice any of them you watch are intertwined. You're welcome, Lisa. Thank you for coming. And thanks, James. So they all intertwine and they all are relative to each other. So I recommend, again, don't do it all in one sitting, but take them in little baby doses. How you eat an elephant is one bite at a time, right? Thank you, Amber. So there's a lot of information in there. Take with it for what makes sense for your business and what doesn't, leave behind. That's okay. I'm never offended. And if you have any questions on any of the past episodes you watched them, please feel free to let me know. Oh, I'm so glad you learned a lot. Good. I don't try to fluff it. I try to be honest. This wasn't a topic I get pretty, like, listen, this is the way it is. And I think that I was taught that way, and it really helped me build myself and my personal development and my professional development. I hope that for all of you. So I hope I see you all again, either next week or in the upcoming weeks. These will stay Thursdays at 7 p.m., but they will always be rewatchable through the group. If you need anything, past episodes on the Facebook page. Yes, James, they're on the page. So if you request to be part of the Facebook page, if you're not part of it already, they're all on there. I think except for the last one I did right before my 3-week hiatus, but it should be up there later this week. But everything will be there. Yay, Amber, then I will see you next week. I'm so glad. But everything should be on there. In that space, you can rewatch. And like I said, post any questions or anything you have. So sometimes I recommend some books that I like and talk about. And I think I even have some links to those books in the Facebook group. There's a lot of information on there, but I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. And we're going to keep doing this. And I'm going to keep doing it until you tell me to stop. So, because I really look forward to these Thursday evenings where I get to do this with you all. So waiting on approval for Facebook page. Well, you know what, James? I'm going to go do it right now. I'm going to do it right now as I'm talking to you. And those of you that want to jump off, you are welcome to. Where are my post approvals? Uh, we got a couple. I approve. Jay and Natty and Algia, Dawn, Anthony, Danielle. Yay! I'm so glad you're there. Where can we Anthony, great question. You can suggest topics in just the posts on the group. Feel free to pop it in there and say, hey, I have a suggestion for a topic in the future. I would love to have that because I thought of some, but I'm also willing to change any at any point. I love to talk about new things. So feel free to pop that into the Facebook group because I'm in there and see everything that comes through. So. Ooh, yay! Have a great evening, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your weekend. If you have no other questions, and I will see you all next week. I'll hang out for a few more moments just in case. But. I think we're done on questions. Thank you, everybody. It was so lovely with being with all of you tonight. So I hope to see you soon. Oh, good. I'm so glad it was an interesting discussion, James. I hope we keep that up. Keep coming back. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. We'll talk soon.